Hi, I'm Claire from Wild Ginger Running YouTube channel and author of the Ultimate Trail Running Handbook. And here are my top 10 tips for your first or your fastest trail race. Surprisingly, a few of them are pretty similar. This film is powered by the Skyline Scotland, who, as well as their original super tough mountain races, now have 4 incredible trail races starting from the exciting event village in Kinlochleven every September. So choose from either 5k, 10k, 18k or 27k for a fantastic run through the beautiful Scottish scenery. Suitable for everybody from beginners doing their first trail race to those wanting to get their fastest time. Check out the link in the film description below. And now for the top 10 tips. Number 1, pick the right distance. So as a beginner runner, it's good to start shorter and progress to the longer races gradually. So start with 5 or 10k. If you're already a runner but are new to trails, then choose your preferred distance. But remember, it will take you a little longer on the lumpy paths than on the roads. So maybe go slightly lower in distance than usual. For experienced trail runners, play to your strengths and pick a 5k if you like a short, sharp blast, or a half marathon distance perhaps if long and steady is more your bag. Tip number 2, train on the trail. So whether you're a complete beginner or really experienced, you'll benefit most from training on the trail. So seek out the rough ground whenever you can. So find out what the terrain is like on your race and replicate it as much as you can in your training. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have to trek off to the mountains. You can run just through your local parks, footpaths, woodland, and even just on the grassy verge next to the pavement. Every little helps to strengthen up your ankles and your core muscles for your first or your fastest trail run. See the film description below for my video on how to find local trails easily. Tip number 3, train consistently. So you'll get much fitter and stronger much more quickly if you run little and often rather than just one long run at the weekend. So for beginners training for 5 to 10k, I recommend running 5k 3 times a week with a non-running day between each run. Then gradually increase one of the 5k runs by 1 kilometre per week until you're running 10k comfortably. For more experienced runners looking to get faster, I'd still recommend just the 3 runs per week. One fun run of about 5k, one tempo run, for example a fast park run, or an interval session of 4 building to 8 times 60 to 90 second fast efforts with a jog recovery. And finally, a long run that builds by a kilometre or 2 each week to or almost to your race distance. Every 3 to 4 weeks have a rest week where you ease off to allow your body to recover. And before short races, taper with less intense training for a week or longer as the event distance increases. So see my playlist here for more detailed training plans. Tip number 4, do cross training. So some people can train 5 runs a week and not get injured, but I found that running 3 times per week is plenty of impact for me. So if I have time for another session, I'll cycle for an hour or 2 or I'll swim for 30 to 60 minutes. Exercise of any kind will improve your cardiovascular fitness, from walking to rollerblading, from gardening to belly dancing. So every little helps, get it on Strava. Whatever your level, to get stronger for trail running and, very importantly, reduce your risk of injury, strength work is absolutely essential. You can find tons of free strength workouts on YouTube. They only take 5 to 10 minutes, that's all you need to do. There are some here to start you off. Do one of them every day rather than thinking that you need to spend a whole hour on strength work once a week and never quite getting around to it. Number 5, fuel up right. So for all levels of runner in your daily life, try to keep hydrated, eat lots of fruit and veg, good quality protein, complex carbs, and less of the yummy, high fat, high sugar processed foods. Less, not none. So during the race, depending on the distance, you might need to take water and fuel. So for runs around an hour long, like 5 to 10k, I wouldn't take anything apart from a bottle of water if it was a very hot day. And even then, there might be an aid station on the course, so more on aid stations later. So you might not need to take anything. So if you're aiming for a longer race, like over an hour long, you'll need to practice eating and drinking on your long run every week to see what your body and your palate can tolerate. So some people can neck a can of Coke and a pizza at halfway, while others struggle to ingest anything more than an energy drink. So find out what works for you personally in training. Very importantly, avoid trying anything new on race day in case it upsets your stomach. You need easy to unwrap and easily digestible, non-meltable, sugary fuel like gels, jelly babies, and energy drinks. So for more snack ideas and recipes, see my nutrition playlist here. In training or racing, after half an hour, have a few bites or gulps every 20 to 30 minutes to keep your muscles topped up nicely, aiming for 30 to 60 grams of carbs per hour. Number 6, test your gear. So however experienced you are at trail running, never use something new on race day, as it might chafe or blister you horribly, or you might not know how to work it. So choose your shoes, your outfit and your equipment in good time beforehand so you can run in everything 3 or 4 times or even more. So check for hot spots in your shoes that you might want to tape up or take tape with you. Maybe swap a skimpy vest for a t-shirt so your running pack doesn't rub, and make sure you know where all the pockets are for fast, easy access to your fuel on the go. So for more experienced runners, if you're using poles on some of the longer trail races, then practice with them in plenty of time to get your arms and your hands used to that extra weight and the position. So see my film on how to use running poles here for good technique, and make sure you know how to fold them away quickly too, and how to stow them on your running pack so that you don't waste any time or any energy on the race itself. Number 7, use the aid stations. So find out where the aid stations are on your race and use that information to work out how much you need to carry. For example, if there's water and snacks that your stomach can tolerate every 10k or so, then on a cool day you might not need to carry much fuel with you at all, which will make your race much easier and much faster as well. If you're a beginner, a nice chat with the marshals can add to the fun and friendly and supportive atmosphere of your first trail race. But if you're after a personal best, speeding up at aid stations will dramatically reduce your time with no extra training effort. Woohoo! So fire up your brain and be prepared for fast action and multitasking. Undo your empty water bottles as you run in, quickly pocket some snacks and keep walking while you tighten up your filled water bottles and slide them back into your running pack, and then jog out, munching on snacks. Job done. There's no time for a long old chit chat, but there is always time to say thank you to the marshals. Number 8, pack early. So peruse the race instructions a few weeks before so you have time to beg, steal or borrow any mandatory kit and you're not rushing around stressed just before the race. Find out where you need to park, where registration is, kit drop, and how long it takes to walk to the start as well, because sometimes it's not in the same place. Pack the night before and maybe even do a flat lay for your social media to get that final bit of support from your friends. Getting organised like this frees up your brain to relax and enjoy the race atmosphere, and if you're going for a fast time, to get into the zone. Number 9, pace yourself. So whether you're a beginner or an old timer, at the start of the race, it's so easy to get swept up in the flow and whiz off really fast, but slow your pace right down, regardless of what everybody around you is doing. Don't worry, you'll overtake them later in the race when they realise that they've overcooked it. With pacing also helps to know the route, especially where the hills are. Then you can work out when to put your foot on the gas and when to ease off. Talking of hills, in trail races, especially the longer ones, it's also more efficient to walk briskly up the steeper hills. When should you do this? When your breathing gets out of control. So then start walking, and you'll probably find you're going at pretty much the same speed with less effort too. Number 10, use mind power. So for your first or your fastest trail race, having a positive mindset is a hugely valuable asset. So in training, think about how you'll tackle any tricky situations that might come up in the race and have a plan or a mantra for when you start to find things tough. Think about your reason for doing the race in the first place. That is a very good place to start. In training and during the race, visualize things going well in aid stations, up hills, down the hills, and of course, crossing the finish line. And in all your running and throughout life really, treat yourself as if you would a friend. Tell yourself things like, you can do this, come on, you're doing really well, and keep running strong. That's got to be better than beating yourself up internally with a stick of self-loathing, hasn't it? Change "why can't I run faster" to "I am running the best I can right now, go me." And swap "why didn't I train more for this" to "I am fit enough to run this even with less training, and next time I will do X, Y, and Z." Focus on all the amazing things your body can do rather than what it can't do right now. Then I know it's number 11 and I said there'd be 10 tips, but I really just need to add this one final thing, and that is to enjoy your first or your fastest trail race. So grin a few times, thank the marshals, enjoy the views, take photos, well, maybe afterwards if you're on for a PB, but just revel in moving your body in the great outdoors. You have your health, you're in a beautiful location, and you're surrounded by like-minded runners enjoying the trail, so what could be better? Enjoy. Well, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this top 10 tips for your first or your fastest trail race. Thanks to Skyline Scotland for powering this film. Check out their races from 5k to 27k via the link in the film description below. If you want more advice, there are links to helpful training videos in the film description below too, and in the thumbnails at the end of this film. I also have a book here with training plans from 5k to 50k and a whole host of other information on getting the right gear, nutrition, plus recipes and preventing injuries too. Thanks for watching, enjoy your next race, maybe at the Skyline Scotland, and I will see you on the trails.